This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. That was me having a little bit of fun with this guitar. This is a vintage V6 reissued series guitar. I told you the full story about how I came to be the owner of this guitar on Thursday. If you missed that video when I was giving me first impressions of this guitar, then I'll link to it in the description, along with a few other things that I'll mention along the way. But basically, this guitar was a present. It was a gift from a viewer of the channel who likes what I do and basically sent me a guitar. A chap called Jim, who is an incredibly generous soul, and he sent me this guitar. Let's get a little bit of housekeeping out the way before we go any further. That little demo piece there, the crunchy power chord tones were the Blue Guitar Amp 1 Mercury Edition on the Vintage channel. The clean tones were the Blue Guitar Amp 1 on the Vintage channel, but just with the guitar's volume rolled back a little bit. Very, very encouraging that, because one criticism I've had of vintage branded guitars in the past is that everything sounds fine when you're on full throttle, but you back it off and it does go a little bit muddy. They've fixed that. The last couple of vintage guitars that I've tried have cleaned up beautifully from the guitar's volume control, which, as regular viewers of this channel will know, is my preferred way of getting a clean sound. Set the amp for the dirtiest tone you're going to need, and then just dial it back from there. I say the dirtiest tone you're going to need, but there was an even kind of higher gain tone that I used there for the shouty solo-y bits, which was once again the Blue Guitar Amp 1 Mercury Edition, this time on the classic channel with the foot switchable boost. Gives a lovely full throttle lead sound, that I find. And I'll also just mention that there's a full tab for that particular piece of music in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it and the jam track I was using as well. That is all up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description. As I'm sure you know by now, it's $3 or about £3 a month, depending on the exchange rate. And you get access to all of these tabs and jam tracks and extra goodies and stuff that go along with these YouTube videos. So a massive thank you to anyone and everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are downstairs in the description. Let's look at some weights and measures for this guitar. Just did these earlier. We've got a nice comfortable weight of 3.54 kilos. Not sure what that is in old money, but I think in kilos. You know, I'm in the second half of my 6th decade on the planet, and right from day one at primary school or elementary school, whatever you want to call it, I was taught in the metric system, so that's kind of inculcated in me. That's how I think. Apart from fretboard radiuses, I think of those in inches, but there you go. Just one of the many contradictions in my life. So yeah, 12-inch fretboard radius. You can see the nut width there. It's stated in the specs, which are linked down in the description as well, that it's a 43mm nut. Well, my caliper there measures it at 42.7, but we're not going to quibble over 0.3 of a millimeter. Nice comfortable C profile neck. You can see the profile there at the 1st and 12th fret. Feels very Fendery, actually. It feels very much like a guitar that I used to own that looked a lot like this. Let's get that out of the way. I'll come back in a moment. Yeah, I used to have a Fender Japanese 60s reissue Strat in this colour as my main gigging guitar from the late 80s till the early 2000s. Main difference was I had EMG pickups in it, but yeah, so nice nostalgia value for this guitar. This is in the colour that they call Laguna Blue, and Fender refer to this sort of shade of blue as Sonic Blue, I believe. On camera, I'm just looking at it now, it comes across a tad greyer than it actually appears in real life. It looks sort of, you know, kind of a blue-grey on camera, but it isn't in when you see it in the flesh. Anyway, back to the stats. DC pickup readings, quite a vintagey kind of low output set of readings there. The 3 pickups are roundabout. See, bridge is 6.08. Middle is 5.7 and the neck is 5.69. Is that? Can't see the screen properly from here. So like low output Alnico 5 Wilkinson WVS pickups, and then when you kind of go into the in-between positions where it's also hum cancelling, by the way, you can see that sort of, because they're in parallel, that kind of brings the readings down a little bit. So, you know, it's a Strat. Well, I can't officially call it a Strat, but it's a UK thing. Whatever kind of vacuum cleaner you have in the UK, it might be a Dyson, it might be an Electrolux, it might be a Hitachi, or it might be a Vax. Everybody refers to their vacuum cleaner as a Hoover. So, you know, for that reason, I'm going to call this a Strat style guitar, but you know, it feels like a Strat to play. It looks like a Strat if you kind of if you don't see the headstock. Sounds like a Strat. You know, I want to say it's a pretty, you know, good example of the breed. There's nothing about this guitar that makes you think budget. And these, if you look on the, as I say, on the spec in the description, the recommended retail price for these on the vintage website is about 400 quid. You don't have to pay that for one of these. Gear for Music have got these in stock for 297, I think it is, and that's about the sort of average street price for them. You know, if you like Strats, then, you know, you're going to enjoy this guitar. Some people might be a little bit put off by the flatter fretboard radius, 12-inch. I know that bothers some people. It used to bother me in the opposite direction. I didn't used to like the 7.25-inch vintage Fender radius, but the older I get, the more tolerant I become of that. And last guitar I played with one of those was like an anniversary model Telecaster. I think it was the 60th anniversary Tele that had the kind of heavily cambered fretboard. Didn't present any problems to me at all. It wasn't an issue. So I think I've got over myself a little bit with that. But I know some people do get a little bit twitchy about fretboard radiuses. So what else can I say about this? It's got a gloss neck, gloss finished neck, but that's easily enough fixed. And the chap called Jim, who sent me this guitar, said in his little note that he sent it with, you know, there's, I know you prefer satin neck, so he's included some wire wool for me to kind of buff it up and kind of get it back to a nice satin finish, which I will probably do at some point. As I said, comfortable guitar to play. Nice low action on Thursday's video when I was doing my first impressions. I got the little action ruler out. At the 12th fret we've got an action of 1.75mm. No fret buzz, no choking off, no issues anywhere on the neck. The frets on this are nicely sorted. It would sail through the Phil McKnight sock test in terms of fret sprout. Nice, you know, clean, well finished fret ends. Comfortable guitar to play. Another thing that some people often pick up on with this brand of guitars, they are called vintage, is that as well as the fretboard radius not being vintage, it has 22 frets. You know, I like a 22 fret neck guitar. I prefer 22 frets to 21. Don't know why. I don't often go right up to the 22nd fret, but it's nice to know that it's there if I want it. A lot to like about this guitar. As I say, if you are a Strat fan, then this is well worth checking out. It costs about the same, as I say, 297 quid, about 300 quid. It costs about the same as that Squier Classic Vibe Strat that's hanging on the back wall there, and this is just too good an opportunity to miss. Next week I'm going to be doing a comparison between two guitars at roughly the same price point, about £300 or thereabouts. We're going to be comparing this vintage to that Squier. Just do a bit of a shootout, see what comes next, or what comes out on top. One flavour of guitar that I don't currently own, and it's not because it's not a guitar that I would tend to use too much, is a HSS Strat. So I'm thinking, you know, I might just keep the Squier back there as the sort of Stratty kind of Strat, the vintage correct, if you like, or the kind of slightly more vintage correct version. And I might throw a Hot Rails or something into here, just so if the need ever arises, I do have a HSS Strat that I can use. That said, my PRS CE24 does a good mix of single coil and humbucker sounds, but it'll be nice to have a HSS to fiddle around on from time to time. So there you go, folks. That is my little look at the vintage reissued series V6 Strat style guitar. Wilkinson pickups and bridge, and it's got the Wilkinson EZ lock tuners. You know, it's not just you know, kind of no-name OEM parts on it. It's bristling with Wilkinson stuff, and you know, that's got a good reputation for longevity and you know, and getting the job done. And as I say, it's a 300 quid guitar. What's not to like? There you go, folks. That is the review of the vintage V6. Make of it what you will. Hope you've enjoyed the video. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it? Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. We drink beer and we talk about stuff. Basically, often music and guitars, but often not music and guitars as well. It's a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.